Coming up, we compare the new Ode with the old Ode and get nostalgic about those prices. We go full spy mode on those tech specs, and then we get freaked out by the classics. And of course we just play with toys, because isn't that what it's all about? Greetings and salutations, fellow collectors of plastic things. I'm not even for sure if I am going to post this video, but I'm definitely going to turn on this light. There we go. And take a look at Autobot Wheelie, the latest release in the Transformers retro releases that have been coming out as Wal-Mart exclusives. I believe the latest waves, what are they, 7, 8, and 9? Focused on mini vehicles, and in this specific packaging that is reminiscent of, wait for it, the original mini vehicles packaging. I have one right here for Autobot Sea Spray, who was one of my favorites as a kid. I have him loose, and I loved him so much that I did want to have, for the nostalgia of it, a nice carded copy of this guy. And I absolutely love, by the way, the fact that if you'll notice right there, he came from Kmart and was originally priced at $3.57 back when he was originally released. But you can see how this modern packaging mimics the original packaging right there. In a really fun way, they have the great animated version of the toy along with the, of course, photo of the alt mode there. Just like they did on the original with this funny, funky sort of gray outline on the figure. They've kept that same sort of thing. They have the grid lines. They have the name, same font and colors, Autobot Sea Spray right here. And here we, of course, we have Autobot Wheelie. On the back of the OGs, they had the instructions for transforming them right there, and the large decoder tech specs right there that we'd use the red bit to lay over and see what their tech specs were. And notice they made it quite difficult for you, so you had to use the decoder, which I have one, so pause just for 1 second. I have a collection of these from my childhood that I still kept in a little pencil box. Here's Mixmaster. Here's actually Brawn, another mini vehicle, and Inferno right here. And of course the decoder would go over there so you could more easily make out, I hope that's showing up on camera there, the blue line that shows our actual tech specs. So that's why those exist. That's why it existed on this one, to make it more clear. Just how strong he was in strength, intelligence, speed, etc. So oddly enough, even though they have much larger boxes, they have really shrunk down the tech specs, and since they're not going to give you a little red decoder, they make the line a little more obvious. You can see the blue line right there, but this of course would still help out as well. So you can see right there, you lay it over and it's quite clear. You can see all of Wheelie's tech specs, although I guess they don't have them written out. You have to go by the little icons here, which if we look at those, you can see we got a little, I guess, flexing arm here for strength, brains for speed, for brains, intelligence. I was looking at this when you see the Running Man for speed, and I suppose this shooting missile thing would be power? Is that correct? Hang on, let's go back. Check this out. On the original, we would have firepower, so I'm assuming that's what that means, firepower, and we lose endurance, rank, and skill, but that's okay. They've shrunk them down for modern times. But anyway, that is the box for Autobot Wheelie, the latest, and Brawn is out too now, by the way, and I actually had him ordered to be delivered today from Walmart, and then I got that cancellation that they don't actually have them in stock. But that's good. Someone's actually shown up in the store and gotten them before me, so they put in the legwork, so good for them. I'll pick it up eventually, because the good thing about these guys is quite often they stick around a while. I don't think any of these from the most recent wave have been hard to get at all. I know if I go on my Walmart right now, I'll see several probably Sea Sprays in bronze, so hopefully they'll stick around a long time and no one will have any problem getting any of these. So let's get him out of the box, but off the card and look at him a little more closely. This won't be a full review. This is more of a, first take as I'm figuring him out myself, but we'll also compare him to all of the other recent retro issue releases from Walmart from this particular line. We'll compare them all and see what we think about Autobot Wheelie. So let's get him out of the card. Let's get him off the card. Let's get him out of the packaging. I don't know, man. I'm tired. So here we have Autobot Wheelie on the spinny thing to get a closer look at him. And of course, These figures are supposed to be more toy accurate to G1 than animation accurate, and they do a pretty good job of that. In fact, if I bring in my wheelie right here, hello, you can see the collars are very good. The different shades of orange come off quite well. The white ring around his chest and head matches up really well. There is some differences. He has the rub sign on my version here in a very unfortunate spot, so I'm not going to rub that. But then he has the Autobot logo big and clear on this version here. I don't know if spinning was the right way to do this, but it's more fun, I think. Anyway, so there are some subtle differences like that. Otherwise, even the shade of gray on the wheels matches up nicely there. The head sculpt, if we can get to focus on that, the head sculpt on the original toy matches up pretty well there. Although I think the original toy has no paint for the eyes, but they've decided to give him a face and give him some paint for the eyes there, which I suppose is fine, because I gotta say, this guy actually kind of scared the hell out of me as a kid. I loved him, but probably one of the reasons Sea Spray was actually my favorite mini vehicle when I was a kid was because Wheelie kind of freaked me out a little bit. And you'll notice I am missing on my version here the little cap that would have gone over the top here to cover his face in alt mode. That is gone. No idea where that is, but that's okay. Maybe I'll pick up another one of them later. But anyway, we can see the collars match up pretty nicely. As you can see here, let's turn off the spinny thing and get a closer look. I've done my best to get him in sort of his slingshot pose there. Although I find that, I don't know, maybe there's a trick. Like I say, I just got him. Maybe if you fold the arm in, there's a better way to get it. I mean, that's not too bad, and depending on the angle, that kind of works. If you want to recreate that pose, of course. I mean, that's his weapon is a slingshot, and that's how it has to work. So you want him to be able to do that pretty well. But regardless, my first impressions are that this thing feels really good. I think of all the, and here, let's bring him in real quick. Let's just drop the camera down a little bit and talk about these retro mini vehicles that we've received from Walmart here. So he feels solid. I mean, he feels heavy for the size. He feels a little bit more to me like maybe Gears. So here's a comparison of him with Gears. Both of these I feel are just super premium, and I like both of these really well. I haven't done the transformation of this guy yet, so we'll see how I feel about that. But just in robot mode, I like how both of these guys feel, and he feels a lot like Gears, who's really cool. But let's go through them all. Here we have, of course, the retro Bumblebee as well. Now you can see the height difference. I know people might be worried about scale. I'm not a huge scale guy, and honestly, you're not going to have me going frame by frame in the 86 movie specifically to see who was taller than who, or the cartoon. Like, it's not that big a deal to me as long as they're fairly close. And so at least in this iteration, Wheelie does have a few inches for sure on Bumblebee there. Then, of course, we can bring in Sea Spray, who I have done a review on, and I desperately wanted him to be good. And I don't hate Sea Spray as he stands there right now. But as I noted in my review, maybe it was just a short. I'll pop it up on the screen. Anyway, I do have serious issues with it. These pieces here pop off no matter what in transformation, as do these panels on the back. I simply can't do it without that happening. Overall, I don't really enjoy the transformation, and the fact that that happens as well just makes it not fun at all. So for me personally, Transformers, the funnest part is the transformation. And when I don't enjoy the transformation, I have to knock a lot of points on these guys. So I did knock a lot of points on Sea Spray. And again, he was my favorite as a child. Maybe I'm also just being too hard on him because he does look pretty cool. But, and he is pretty accurate. Hold on. This here is my G1 Sea Spray. I do love the guy very much. And I'm happy, obviously, that this exists. But I don't know. I don't love him. I wish I did. Maybe they'll take another shot at him at some point. And then, of course, another great figure. And, of course, all of these were just... Do I have his feet correct? I think so, yeah. You know, a lot of times I have Brawn like that and don't even think about it. But anyway, there is Brawn next to Wheelie. Stand up, man. There you go. There's Brawn next to Wheelie. I also love Brawn. This, of course, is... they're all over the place in where they source these things. So this, I believe, is a Studio Series. Well, no, this is the Studio Series mold, whereas Gears was from the Legacy line. This is a retool, basically, from the Legacy line with a few minor changes. And then Bumblebee was from the War for Cybertron Bumblebee, with a few minor changes. Correct me if I'm wrong in a nice way in the comments if I get any of that information incorrect. Sea Spray, of course, was a brand new mold. And again, I don't hate them, guys. I love them. I love the fact that I have all these together. It's awesome, so relax. And I believe Wheelie is, of course, a brand new mold too, which makes me excited to get to figuring out the transformation. But looking again at him, yeah, he feels very solid. His legs can go all the way. Let's go through it. His legs can go all the way back, all the way forward. Decent knee bend. Does he have any ankle tilt? Yes, he does have some slight ankle tilt, it looks like, so that's pretty good. Waist swivel is nice. He has waist swivel. His arms will go all the way around. Bend at the elbow. Wrist swivel, so that's good. And his head will twist all the way around, full Exorcist style. So yeah, nice posability on this guy. And again, at least my copy, everything is solid. Thank goodness for these pinned joints everywhere. Look at these big pins all over the place. So that makes me feel reassured that this is a good quality product. And again, he just feels really good. So I'm gonna work on the transformation myself, try it a few times, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the transformation process in the alt mode. Okay, for the transformation, we are going to go strictly by the book. And according to these instructions, there are a full 23 steps involved in Wheelie's transformation. So we are gonna go through all the steps. I've done it a couple times now. That doesn't mean it's going to be beautiful and clean, but through the power of editing, it should look okay. So let's grab Wheelie and we're gonna start with step 1, which is to simply just lift his arms up on either side, just like that. For step 2, we are going to take these flaps and flip them out on either side. So now we have him looking like that. And now that once we have this flaps out, we can come around to the back and we can take the backpack and we can bring this whole bit down just like that. And that is a very tight joint, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, it takes a little effort to pull that down. And the next step is to bring this bit up just like that. They show it to fold it up like that. And then they say to bring this down just like so, which you could probably do in all one motion, but that is 2 steps in the instructions. Then they say to take the arms and twist them back just like so. And then they say to put this back up just like this. And then you see here, you have these 2 little slot tabs right here that are gonna go into a slot right here to close this up. So you're gonna bend this forward just like so until it meets right there. And once it snaps in, that's just naturally gonna kind of align itself. So you wanna make sure it's flat and those are slotted in there correctly, and then you're good to go there. And then we're gonna turn him around to the front. And we're gonna take this part of his waist and just pull that all up just like this. And you're gonna come to the top and there's a tiny little tab slot here and a tiny little tab there, and you're just gonna make those meet and get that all snapped into place so you have it looking like this. Then we're going to push the arms back, turn him around just like so, and then bring his arms down like this. And they have several steps to get them into place, but you know, you can be more efficient at that over time. But I like going just by the instructions sometimes, just to see how goofy they are. Because the next step says to take the arm and twist it around just like that. Same thing over here, twist the arm around just like so. And then we're going to take the fists and turn them around just like that on either side. There you go. And then this bit I don't love, but I think per the instructions, you have a slot right here and a tab right there, and that is where the arm needs to meet. Because what we're going to do is now kind of push the arm up a bit and bring it in so that slides right in. That slots right into this tab right here, just like so. And it goes in nice and tight once it's in there. Same thing on the other side, push it up a bit, bring this in, and with this little slot right here, we want to go right onto that tab right there, push it into place, nice and tight, just like so. Now we can turn back around to the front, and we're gonna bring the nose cone out, and here's the one issue I ran into. You're gonna pull this out and up, but this piece right here will come off on me, and so that's going to be something, if I'm careful with it, I'll probably be fine. And again, it's these sort of joints right here, quite often they pull off, the tension isn't great or the tolerance isn't perfect, they will pop off. But of course, that's better than having something that's going to break, so we'll live with it. But essentially, you're going to pull this up just like so, and then you're going to straighten this piece out just like that, and kind of match it up so you have that nice flat surface going over the top, just like so. And now we can look to the legs, and we're going to take the feet and just push them down a bit, just like that on either side, just like so. And then we're going to turn them inward so the wheels are facing out on either side. And then we're going to tab them together, and here's another place where I don't love it because this tab, you have this tab and tab slot right there. They don't hold together great, but again, once everything is in place, it doesn't matter that much. But you can see there's kind of, they're going to push back on you a bit. It's just because the way you're pushing it together, it puts a little pressure on it. But again, once you push everything into place, you're going to be just fine. But just know, at least on mine, that doesn't hold in very well. I just kind of have to keep it pushed in place for the next step. But the next step is, of course, we're going to turn it like this, and we're going to take the wheels and we're going to bring them around just like so on either side, just like that. Again, holding it together. And then you're going to do sort of the final move where you're going to bring this whole bit, and again, I wish it held together better, but you're going to bring this whole bit over, just like so. And I believe you have tabs. I think it's supposed to like click into place right here, and I'm honestly not quite sure where it tabs, but once you push everything into place, you do have little holes right here. It's going to push in there. You see these little front slots right here. These are going to slot into place. And just give everything a good push. Make sure it's in all the way. It will snap into place quite nicely. And then you can do some cleanup. Make sure everything is pushed into place properly. And once you're done with that, there you have Wheelie's alt mode. And it is a pretty cool looking alt mode, but we'll talk a little bit more about it in a second. First, I will note the instructions do also note that you can store his slingshot right under here. So you can take the slingshot and just push it right down on that tab. Push it into place, and there you go. There you have it stored away quite nicely. And honestly, it actually kind of completes the look a little bit. So I like that storage. I think that works out pretty well. I think for the most part, everything is pushed into place nicely. And there you go. There is Wheelie in his alt mode. And I love it. I don't, I love it. I don't double love it. Can I say it that way? It looks really good. So I'm not going to hate on it. And again, this is first impressions. I should never judge anything too soon. So I'm going to say for now, I really like this guy. Anyway, this is his alt mode. Let's look at him in comparison to the original G1 figure. This creepy ass guy. We're going to, wait, that's crazy. Okay, hold up. My bad. This way. It's been a while, folks. Connect the wheels again, and there you have Wheelie. And such a great mini vehicle. I love this mini vehicle. And this is honestly what I love most about this retro line, particularly the last three waves that are focused on the mini vehicles, on the cards, just like they were back in the day. Very nostalgic, very much like the original toys. And the focus on that, at least for me, hits really hard. I really like that because as much as I enjoyed the cartoons when I was a kid, I was all about the toys. So for me, the nostalgia of seeing them with the toys, seeing them, remembering them like the toys I played with when I was a kid, that's even cooler to me than having like cartoon accuracy. Now, I know with several of these, they'll probably eventually have another like studio series release for the cartoon version. I know we've already had a core class Wheelie, and you know, we had the one, of course, that came with Grimlock, which was just locked into a one single pose, so that's not super fun. So we'll probably see a studio series version of this particular mold, I have to imagine, in more movie accurate colors, which would be great too. But I do love having these in their original toy molds because that's what I remember more than anything. So it's very fun. So get up close look, you can see here there's still a couple big slots on the side. It's not a very clean side, but it's not bad either. But it is all those awesome curves that you remember for Wheelie. He looked like sort of the perfect spaceship, very similar to Origins Bumblebee. Between the two of them, I used to draw spaceships when I was a kid, literally just like this, right up and over and back like that. That's how I drew spaceships, and it was absolutely because of Wheelie and also a little bit Origins Bumblebee, because they both kind of had that profile, at least, of that shape. So I really love that shape. But let's look at him in comparison to the other retro mini vehicles real quick. Okay, so now for a quick comparison, here we have Autobot Wheelie, and we'll first put him with Wave 7's Bumblebee right there. And the other one from Wave 7, Gears, who I absolutely love. So there they are. And then, of course, from Wave 8, we had Brawn. And then the other one from Wave 8, Sea Spray. There you go. And yes, we're using that one because I am not transforming this dummy again. I'm sorry, folks, if you love him. It's not him, it's me, I promise, but I just don't want to transform him again. So anyway, there you go. There's your comparisons. And this is your Autobot Wheelie in his alt mode, which is really just a clean, fun figure. Honestly, I have no complaints about this guy. The loose little bits here and there are better than in braking, so it's not a problem, and it wasn't nearly as bad as issues I was having on Sea Spray. And he actually rolls pretty well, which is fun. He does have pinned wheels. Again, pins everywhere. He feels so solid. He feels premium. The plastic feels good. The colors are incredible, very much nostalgic for me as a G1 Transformers collector. Absolutely love that. And again, I'm happy to just be getting all of these mini vehicles again. It's a lot of fun. We're getting some in the Age of the Primes line as well and other places, and it's nice to sort of collect them all. And yeah, I just really love this alt mode of Wheelie. Very nice. Okay, so let's just quickly transform him back to his robot mode, and we will just reverse things. So for the most part, this is going to be the quicker, just get it done sort of way. So we're going to sort of untab the legs, make sure they're not hooked in too much to anything on either side, so then we can just swing the legs back down just like so. Bring that all down into place like that. And then as we remember, we'll bring the legs back around, bring the foot up, and then we'll just twist these bits back around like that. Same thing on the other side. Bring the leg around, bring the foot up, and twist this piece back around, going this way with that. And then we have the legs pretty much done. So the next thing we're gonna wanna do is take the arms and disconnect them, slide them out of their tab from right there, and just kind of get them up out of the way. The front of the vehicle, this is the bit that comes off, but what I do is just kind of push it. I want to bring this whole piece down like that and try and keep it connected, put pressure on it. In fact, I think it was better to put pressure on it right here and hold it while I bend this part down and fold it in like that. And then I can bring the whole bit down like so. And then it's going to push into that like that. And then we can bring everything down. And these tabs are going to tab back into here. So just pull it down a bit, bring it around so those tabs match up, and push them into place just like that. Get everything lined up properly. There we go. Tab that in. And the arms, you know, you can just bring them around, twist them around till they make sense, just like that. Twist it around, twist the fist around. And then the backpack here, we do need to bring these back so we can pull it back. Bring this part back, I believe. And then we can fold this back down and in like that. And then push that back on top of it, just like so, and then push these panels back into place, and they should tab in. I think everything has to be lined up properly. I did have an issue a couple times when I transformed him back. And once again, he does come with this one singular accessory, his slingshot, that he can hold in either hand. Put it right there, and then you can get him in whatever pose you want. You can even team him up with Grimlock right here. We can get rid of this weird wheelie that we can't do too much with. It won't bend his frickin' legs and it drives me crazy. So we can get rid of him. You can see how he matches up here with Grimlock, just like that. And then the two of them can take on the Sharkticons. So let's just bring in Gnaw here so he can fight Gnaw. Whoops, there you go, buddy. And there you go. Have them battle to your content, but definitely play with them. Don't leave them on a shelf. That's what they're for. Even though we are all grown-ups and these videos are made for grown-ups, that doesn't mean we don't get to play with our figures. So that's my quick review of Autobot Wheelie. Absolutely love him and glad to add him to the mini vehicle collection. And there you go. That is your review. Have a great day.